I've banned 3 friends from microneedling this month. 3. Now, I know that sounds extreme, but after seeing the results that they're getting from their treatments compared to what I'm getting from mine, I literally couldn't let them waste any more time or money on what they were doing. I'm such a good friend. Now, today's routine is going to include something a little bit different that I'm going to be using on my skin post microneedling. But I'm curious to know, what is the wildest thing that you've put on your face in the name of skincare? Because I bet you it wasn't from Bambi's mum. Now, it's no secret that I'm a 43-year-old guy who loves skincare. And I've been microneedling pretty much from the inception of my channel. So like for the last 4 years. And I am fascinated by the science behind wound healing cascades and cellular regeneration. And also about what I've learned about maximizing the results that you get from a good old microneedling sesh. Today, I'm going to be showing you how I incorporate the Calecim Professional Serum into my microneedling routine. We're talking proteins, exosomes, growth factors, because the science behind this is pretty damn impressive. Okay, if you've been with me for longer than a hot minute, you know that I am all about the science behind how all of these different modalities and treatments work. Because I'm the biggest believer that knowledge is power. When you know how a treatment or a modality works, you know how to incorporate it into a routine. When you know how to incorporate it into a routine, you know you're going to get the best results possible. So to kick things off, let's talk about what's actually happening in your skin when you're microneedling. Now, when it comes to microneedling, you've got 2 options. You have got the good old-fashioned derma roller, which is pretty decent in itself, or you've got the more modern microneedling pens. Now, this is my go-to. I love that you can kind of control the different depths, the different speeds, and personally, I just feel like it's a lot more sterile. You use the needle cartridge right away. You use a fresh one every time. With the rollers, you've got to manually sterilize these. Now, no biggie, like it's easy enough to do. So for the purpose of this video, this is what I'm going to be focusing on. So obviously microneedling is about making little tiny micro wounds to the surface of your skin, but it's more than just making thousands of tiny holes on your face. When I use my microneedling pen to create these precise micro injuries, I'm targeting specific layers of my dermis. Now with the roller, obviously the needles are on a wheel and they're kind of rotating across the skin. With the microneedling pen, they are bouncing up and down vertically, so you get a really clean entry and exit. And what this is doing is it's creating thousands of microscopic channels within the epidermis down into the dermis. Now, this controlled trauma creates 3 distinct phases of healing. First, inflammation. This is when your skin releases specific growth factors and cytokines, and these call healing cells to the area. Then proliferation kicks in. This is where your fibroblasts get busy, producing new collagen and boosting elastin. And then finally we have remodeling. And this is where the new collagen matures and restructures, literally rebuilding your skin support network from the inside out. But here's what fascinates me about collagen induction therapy. It's not just about quantity, it's about quality. See, these micro-injuries stimulate type 3 collagen production, which during the remodeling phase converts to the stronger type 1 collagen. And because I'm going to be working with a motorized pen rather than the roller, I can precisely control both the depth and the pattern of my treatment. And the microchannels that it creates combined with carefully selected topicals can actually supercharge the results that you're going to get. Enter Calecim Professional PTT-6. Okay, so let me break down what exactly makes Calecim Professional Serum so spectacular, because this is where skincare gets seriously scientific. Every single milliliter of this serum packs in over 3,000 growth factors and exosomes. 3,000. And you know me, I love nerding out about what each of these are and what they're doing in the skin. The basic foundation is a rich matrix of proteins that the skin instantly recognizes. And these aren't synthetic or man-made proteins or exosomes. We're talking about real soluble collagen that provides essential structure, albumin that helps maintain the skin's plumpness, and fibronectin that is essential for skin tissue repair. And when you understand how these proteins work together, you start to see why this isn't just another growth factor serum. What gets me really excited about this is the communication network that these proteins create. See, your skin cells are constantly sending signals to each other, and Calecim's growth factors and cytokines actually speak your skin's language. Nothing here gets lost in translation. They're not just randomly stimulating cells, they're delivering precise instructions through the exosomes, which are incredible nano-sized biological messengers. I want you to think of these exosomes as like tiny delivery packages that can actually fuse with your cell membranes. They're carrying specific proteins and regulatory RNA that tell your skin cells exactly what to do. Sounds a bit like my mother. From activating dormant stem cells to triggering new and fresh collagen production. And because they can deliver their cargo directly into your cells, none of that pressure signaling, like nothing, nada, gets wasted. But the really fascinating part about this serum is the way that each of the components inside it actually come to work together. While some of the growth factors are signaling the cells to create fresh and new collagen, others are making sure that that collagen is properly organized. You've got factors controlling inflammation to prevent any scarring, while others are ensuring proper blood vessel formation for healthy and oxygenated skin. And these aren't just random signals. This complex network is preserved in its most bioactive state, which means that your skin can understand and respond to these messages instantly. And just to reinforce the power of this Barbie pink serum, clinical studies are pretty impressive, showing a 600% increase in skin density, 600%. An 83% increase in the production of hyaluronic acid, which means that your skin is nice and hydrated, and a 56% increase in elastin production, which is basically the elastic fibers of your skin that helps everything snap back, and a 42% increase in skin cell production. Those 4 things were enough to sell me on this serum, and trust me, there's no turning back once you start this. Now obviously, when you apply this is as important as applying it itself, and timing is everything. If you are a fan of microneedling and you do it yourself at home, you know that there are a lot of serums that you can use while you're actually microneedling, combining the two together simultaneously. When it comes to the Calecim Professional serum, it's really important that you don't microneedle it into the skin, but giving it a couple of minutes before you actually apply it. See, when we create those microchannels in the skin, we're essentially creating pathways for all of the exosomes and growth factors and cytokines to penetrate deeper. Now, after microneedling, these microchannels take approximately 24 hours to close completely. And we have around about a 90-minute window when our skin is going to be most receptive to whatever we're applying on top. Think about it. We've created tens of thousands of tiny micro wounds across the surface of the skin, and our skin's repair mechanisms are already starting to activate. When we introduce Calecim's PTT-6 formulation, the exosomes and growth factors and cytokines in here are going to be able to enter the skin without any issues. There's going to be no barriers in the way, which means that they're going to be able to deliver more of their messages at an increased pace of time. Now, my understanding of microneedling, how it works in the skin, what's actually happening during and immediately after the process, and how the ingredients of this works as well, is why I'm so particular about my protocol. After properly preparing my skin, going ahead and performing my microneedling session, I apply my Calecim Professional serum within 20 minutes. Typically within 5, but at a maximum 20 minutes. Not immediately after, because I want to wait for that initial swelling of the channels to go down and for them to start to close slightly, because this is going to give me best penetration and just help me get the most out of the application itself. Then, and this is crucial, I do a second application of the Calecim approximately 1 hour after I finish the treatment. By doing this, it ensures that I'm supporting both the inflammatory stage and the beginning of the proliferative phase of healing. But here's something else I've learned. Using Calecim for the next 72 hours after a microneedling treatment is just as important as that initial application, because while those microchannels will close up, your skin is still in an active phase of regeneration. Now obviously the face isn't all just one uniform level. Your skin, your fat pads, your smash layer, the blood vessels, everything underneath the surface is at varying depths. Which means that for best results, you really want to be increasing and reducing the depth that you're treating at, depending on the area of the face that you're targeting. This is crucial for absolutely amazing results and also not accidentally bruising yourself. Okay, so like I said, the face is like a topographical map of different skin depths. And knowing where to adjust your needle length makes all of the difference between over treating your skin or under treating it. Now, around your eyes, and let me tell you this, a lot of people get this so wrong. The skin is paper thin, like just 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters at the most. We're talking super delicate territory here, so you never really want to go more than 0.25 millimeters at a maximum 0.5, which in my opinion is still too much. But some people are going to get away with that, and some people are going to do that. I know, because I'm one of those people. You can get right up on the under eye area. It's just going to be super sensitive, like ouch. Your temples and your forehead, also surprisingly delicate. And here I like to keep it at 0.5 millimeters max. And then there's the nose. Oh, the nose. Despite feeling quite thick and robust, It's actually a danger zone for broken capillaries if you go too deep. Stick to 0.5 millimeters at a max here, and those little blood vessels are going to thank you. Now the fun part, your cheeks, these ones. And this is where you can really get to work, because the skin here is like a really plush, plump, juicy cushion, and there's plenty of fat padding underneath. Now in the cheeks, you can safely work at a depth of 0.75 millimeters to 1 millimeter, which is really going to help to stimulate that collagen production. The same with the chin, it can handle up to 1 millimeter's depth like a champ. The jawline is another area of the face where we can actually work a little bit deeper, 0.75 to 1 millimeters deep. But here's the trick. You've got to keep the device perpendicular to the skin. Think of it like coming straight down rather than coming in at an angle, and you'll be golden. And then there's the neck. Despite being a pretty large area, the skin here is actually really delicate, and it's a really good idea not to go deeper than 0.5 millimeters. There's just no need. Any deeper than 0.5 millimeters and you're going past that collagen production layer in the neck. And also keep the pressure low. Think of it as if your neck was made out of like a really fine silk, like you just don't want to go tearing it to shreds. Okay, let's talk treatment prep, because this is absolutely key for getting the best results possible and keeping yourself safe. Your pre-needling routine needs to hit 5 key areas. First, cleansing. You want to make sure that your skin is nice and clean, free from dirt, makeup, sunscreen, oil, all of that jazz. You're creating tiny micro wounds in the skin, and although they're not super deep and the chance of introducing anything nasty into the skin at these shallow depths is highly unlikely, microneedling with stuff on the surface of your skin is going to prevent whatever you're applying afterwards from actually penetrating properly. And if you're all about results, that's not what you want. Now, in the week leading up to when you're going to be doing your microneedling session, it's super important, if you don't already, which you really should be, but if you don't already, you should be using sunscreen every single day. We're talking SPF 30 at a minimum, because any sun damage or inflammation increases the risk of post-needling hyperpigmentation. Now, if you do get any post-needling hyperpigmentation, you can use a serum that contains alpha-arbutin. Alpha-arbutin, once it is absorbed into the skin, is converted by the body into hydroquinone, which obviously is known for its lightening effects. But obviously things are all the better if you don't have to get to that phase or stage in the first place. Now, retinoids. 3 to 5 days before you do your treatment, you kind of want to cut back on your retinols. And this is true whether it's prescription tretinoin or whether you're using like drugstore retinol. Your skin needs this break to prevent any excess sensitivity, because you're going to be needling it. Next, number 4, blood thinners. Now, these are often overlooked and can significantly impact your treatment. And if you can, if it's safe to do so, a week before you do your microneedling session, stop taking anything like aspirin or any blood thinners. The point's not that you're gonna bleed out. The point is that bleeding means that liquid or fluid is coming from the inside out, which means that anything you've applied to your skin that is making its way in is also being pushed out. And then 5th, hydration prep. And this is using the right kind of serums like hyaluronic acid, peptides, and ceramides to help repair and protect your skin barrier. This is going to create the optimal environment for collagen induction therapy, supporting your skin barrier and maximizing the kind of results that you're going to get from your session. So now that my skin is prepped and ready to go, I am going to apply a fresh cartridge into my microneedling pen. Then I'm going to set the depth. Now what I like to do is I start at the lowest depth first, and I will treat all of those areas first, and then I will increase the depth for each of the areas until I reach 1 millimeter, which is the maximum depth. Now first thing I'm going to do is around my eyes. I'm going to speed through a lot of this. I'm not going to force you to sit here and watch me doing this. What I like to do is stamp this, make sure I get a really clean insertion and exertion. I don't know what the word is for insertion. What is the opposite of insertion? What's the opposite of insertion?
Antonyms for insertion include withdrawal, removal, extraction,
withdrawal. So first I am going to do around my eyes, because this is 0.25 millimeters that I like to focus on. So you've got 5 speed levels with this pen. I'm going to go highest speed because I want the most holes that I can create. And I'm not applying excessive pressure. I'm literally just resting it into the skin so that it's nice and surface level. Okay, next I'm going to do my temples. across the forehead. Down the nose. Around the lips. Then along the necklines. Just going to up the depth now to 1 millimeter. Now that that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying the serum. So it's been around about 10 minutes since I finished doing it under the eyes. So that is the perfect time for me to start getting that on. And then I'll start to treat all the rest of the face straight after. Now, one whole pipette there. This is going to be full of thousands of exosomes, cytokines, growth factors. So I'm just going to drop it under, a couple of drops. Use circular motion just until this has started to absorb. It really doesn't take much, like it absorbs so beautifully. A couple more drops just for the upper lid and the rest of the face. Now obviously you could rub this in with your fingertips, or if you've got an electroporation device like the Booster Pro, what you can do is use this to help push the product in. What this is doing is it's really helping to push that product in even further. But if I'm honest, I prefer using my fingers after microneedling. I just feel like it's helping to just kind of work with your skin, and you can feel where there's a little bit more sensitivity. You can work a little bit gentler or a little bit firmer. But you've always got options like the Booster Pro and that if you want to increase product penetration. This is probably better if you haven't microneedled and using it in place of microneedling just to help push those products in. Okay, so as I said, Calecim Professional Serum and PTT-6 is an ingredient that's a little bit different from the norm. Now, unlike plant stem cells and exosomes, which the body does not recognize and cannot use, the exosomes, cytokines, and growth factors in this serum are ethically harvested from the umbilical cords of red deer in New Zealand. So the actual stem cells that this is extracted from are the mesenchymal stem cells, which are found in the umbilical cord lining. This means that the stem cells that are isolated from the umbilical cord lining are the neonatal cells, and as such are much more potent and robust than those sourced from their adult counterparts. Now, before you start worrying, this is a completely ethically sourced serum. The umbilical cord, which connects the calf to the placenta, is typically discarded of after birth. And this doesn't involve any harm to the calf or the mother. Now, obviously, in many countries around the world, the use of human-derived stem cells is prohibited. But stem cells sourced from mammalian umbilical cords is actually considered as fine. Because as mammals we share really similar signaling proteins, the neonatal stem cells that are extracted from the umbilical cord lining are then nurtured in lab, where the cord lining stem cells start to secrete a mix of biochemicals and skin restoring proteins. And this is what's known as PTT-6. So this serum is ethically sourced. There is no harm or distress to the mother. There is no harm or distress to her child. It's basically taking what would be classified as a medical waste product and actually taking something that can have such transformative powers on the human skin, which I think is pretty cool. Now, as it's just 10 a.m. here, my skin is going to have plenty of time to kind of start the healing process throughout the day. So what I'm going to be doing in the evening, and I will do this for the next couple of days, to make sure that I get maximum benefits out of the Calecim Professional Serum, from those exosomes, from the EGF, from the cytokines, all of that goodness that's in there. I apply 5 pumps of the Calecim Night Recovery Complex. Now, this stays in the refrigerator. It needs to be kept refrigerated. Like I say, I apply 5 pumps. I spread it evenly across the surface of my face, and this stays on all night where it can work its magic. Now this is absolutely packed with rejuvenating conditioned media, calmescensine for sensitivity, niacinamide for barrier repair, and multiple forms of hyaluronic acid for deep hydration. But what makes this combination so effective is how the ingredients actually work together. You've got cucumber extract for calming, allantoin for any calming of inflammation as well, while saccharide isometrate and glycerin help to maintain optimal hydration levels. And then the conditioned media from the stem cells continue supporting your skin's regeneration process throughout the night. Then after the initial healing period, transition to a maintenance routine. For ongoing rejuvenation, I will be using the Night Recovery Complex 3 nights a week, and this is where the long-term magic happens, by continuing to support your skin's regeneration even between treatments. The way that I like to look at it is that this, the Professional Serum, is my power player during my post-needling days, and this one, the Night Recovery Complex, is my long-term player, which is going to be maintaining and enhancing the results. And once the needling is over and done with by around about day 3, I also start applying the Calecim Contour Lift Cream, which is also powered by the proprietary PTT-6, and I use this also both in the morning and the evening. So as you start to introduce your actives and other skincare ingredients after a microneedling treatment, it's a really good idea to just take it slow and listen to your skin's cues. At around about day 5, I start reintroducing actives like vitamin C. By day 6, I'm moving on to my lighter exfoliants like my AHAs and my BHAs. And then when it comes to my retinols, I like to wait around about 8 or 9 days before I start applying them again, because I don't want the skin cells to start turning over too quickly, especially before the exosomes, the EGF, all of the goodies inside the Calecim products have had a chance to get to work and really work their magic in my skin. So yeah, I like to give it a little bit of extra time just to make sure that I'm getting maximum impact from the Calecim products. For ongoing maintenance, I do perform microneedling 1 time a month. This helps my collagen build up its foundations. You don't want to overwork the skin because that's how it starts looking waxy and unnatural. But really the great thing about this approach is that you get the best of both worlds. You get the collagen induction therapy from the microneedling, and all of the growth factors and exosomes inside the Calecim Professional Serum and the Recovery Night Complex help to maximize the results, minimize the downtime, and really just take your skin next level. If you're interested in learning more about the Calecim products or PTT-6 or the exosomes, the cytokines, the EGF that's included in all of this, I will link you up to some really interesting reading. It will explain absolutely everything you need to know about this. You guys, myself included, we always appreciate a before and after because it helps us understand whether something is really worth the investment, whether it's worth our time, whether it's worth doing it all. So this is me right now, obviously post microneedling, and this one right here is me at 1 month. And that's why I use this. But yeah, that's about it for this one today. So if you've got any questions about the Calecim products, about PTT-6, about microneedling, or about any of the other things that I do across my channel, the comments are now open, so feel free to get the conversation started. If you're still with me at this point in the video, thank you so much. You are literally the best. And if you haven't already subscribed, the best way to support my channel and everything that I do here is by subscribing. You don't have to turn notifications on, but it's a good idea because then you're first to know whenever I've uploaded a new video, which lets you get your comments in first, which means that I'm more likely to be able to give you a response. And yeah, thank you for joining me for this one. I hope that your day is as beautiful as you are and that you have the best week ever, and I really look forward to seeing you in my next video. So till then, TJ over and out.